This is Inside Heavy's Behind the Cover, where we introduce you to the creators of the most classic hard rock and heavy metal album covers of all time. By 1983, Van Halen had released 5 landmark albums and toured the world over as a major headline act. They were rewriting the history books of rock and roll with great songs and a frontman notorious for his masterful stage prowess and a hotshot new guitarist that was blowing people's minds and completely changing the way a generation would play the guitar. Van Halen was about to release their 6th studio album entitled 1984 and were in the pursuit of the perfect album cover when they stumbled across an obscure portrait by Margo Nahas depicting a baby angel smoking a cigarette. They knew it was the perfect album cover for Van Halen. Classic album cover artist Margo Nahas joins us right here on Inside Heavy to give us the inside track to the creation of the 1984 Baby Angel Van Halen album cover. So stay where you're at. We're coming right back to get the story from Margo right here on Inside Heavy.
Heavy music? Do you like saving money? Then go to the Inside Heavy Metal Shop, where we compiled a comprehensive list of all your favorite metal artists for the best prices on the internet. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got clothing, jewelry, cell phones, and MP3 players. It's the Inside Heavy Metal Shop, powered by Amazon.com. Check it out.
We are back with Margo Nahas, the creator of the Van Halen 1984 album cover, right here on Inside Heavy. We are joined on the phone by Margo Nahas. She's the painter of the 1984 album cover for Van Halen. Margo, welcome to Inside Heavy.
Thank you.
So you had lots of experience doing album covers. Your artwork is out there, very well known, obviously. How did you come to be called on to do the Van Halen album cover?
Well, Rick Serini was the art director at Warner Brothers Records, and he had already started working with my husband. He got this assignment where Van Halen requested an album cover, and they wanted 4 dancing chrome women. Well, I had done so much chrome illustration at this time, and this was before computers. Mm-hmm. And so I was relatively known for my chrome, and I did quite a few chrome logos for different album or different record groups. And so they obviously asked me if I would do an illustration of the 4 dancing chrome women. And I said no, mm-hmm. that I wouldn't. I couldn't imagine doing all the reflections mm-hmm. that an illustration like that involved.
Right.
And so my husband said, well, can I just take your portfolio over to the group and show them what you have in there, and perhaps they'll either see something else or, request another image. Mm-hmm. And I said, sure. And then he took my portfolio over, and, they were thumbing through it. And at that time, I was in the midst of switching from album cover work to more commercial work, like advertising, like company logos and things like that, and company illustrations and movie posters, which paid a bit more than album work. And also, I didn't have to deal with a lot of politics with the rock groups, which is sort of customary.
Sure.
And they flipped through the portfolio, and they happened to see this one illustration of the angel, and that was it. And they just really loved it and decided and asked if they could use that for their album cover.
Mm-hmm. What was it about that caught their eye?
It was the image. Mm-hmm. Everybody loves that image. no matter who, even people who do not know it's on the album cover.
Right.
It's just the image of that little angel who looks very virgin-like, an angel should, but then a little devilish, smoking that cigarette. And then he's sort of looking up at the heavens and wondering if he's doing something that isn't quite right.
Was it the band that picked it out, or they're like the management people?
No, it was the band that picked it out.
And a young man by the name of Carter Helm was your model?
Yes, he was.
Tell us about Carter. Now, Carter is going to join the conversation here in a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the situation of how you painted this young boy into this angel. And here we are in 2010, and that's everywhere. And I think it's going to be probably as long as there's rock and roll. But tell us about Carter and how you came to paint this image of him.
Well, I needed an angel, or a little boy, that was a classic-looking little model of an angel, and my best friend's son happened to be it. And he had this, just cute little body. He was 4 years old, and blonde hair, and I asked if I could photograph him. Well, I came over with my hair goop. I can't remember what it was at the time. And, he was kind of surprised, 4 years old. He didn't know what in the world was happening. And first of all, he didn't want anything to do with me whatsoever, even though I knew him so well, but I'd never had this camera in front of him before. So he didn't take to it very well at all. But I also came prepared with lots of candy and, obviously, the candy cigarettes. So after he finished this tantrum that took about an hour, he was so cute. He let me put this goop in his hair and just sort of style it up to look like, at that time, a bit of a mohawk. And we went outside, and I started giving him some candy. And the one good yummy thing was these were candy cigarettes. And they were the kind that had chocolate inside and a paper on the outside. And at one end, you could put a little bit of, or they did, the manufacturers put a little bit of powder on it. So kids could puff on it, and it would look like they were smoking a cigarette.
Right.
And then, of course, they'd eat the chocolate cigarettes. And we sat outside, and I just started snapping pictures of him. And, oh, my goodness, he got into it. Just started not only eating the candy, but posing and having so much fun. I eventually ran out of film. Who knew? But that's how it started. And I went back, and I really didn't have to do much to this particular pose at all. I put the marble in the front because he was sitting at a picnic table, but the sky was in the background, and there you have it. Everything is him. Oh, I did add the wing.
Right, you added the wing. Did you add the packs of cigarettes as well, or was that...
no, those were the cigarettes.
So the sky background and everything is just the way that it was. I always figured that was kind of added in.
Well, the sky background was absolutely there. I mean, they lived in Malibu, and there's always a gorgeous sky in Malibu.
Sure.
So it was there. Everything was the same except for the marble table, which I put the reflections on because it looked so beautiful, and it looked much more heavenly-like.